Gas prices are still too high, and Americans are feeling it every time they go to the pump. And with a U.S. blockade of Iran's ports and a partial blockade of the Strait of Hormuz in effect, President Trump admitted that high gas prices could stick around until at least the November midterms. Let's bring in CBS News correspondent Lilia Luciano. She's in Pascagoula, Mississippi, at one of the country's largest refineries. Lilia, thanks for your time. So I understand you are joined by Andy Walz, Chevron's president of global refining.
That's right, Mugo. Andy Walz, president of global refining at Chevron, and I were just talking about how much Americans are feeling these high prices, about all of the global conflict impacts on to how much Americans are struggling or suffering at the pump. And I was asking just now, Andy, and if you can share with our audience, I mean, what is a company like Chevron doing that is seeing more opportunity to export, that is increasing its earnings from the higher prices of oil globally to help Americans who are struggling right now?
Well, you're here at our Pascagoula refinery. Welcome. And we're bringing in Venezuelan crude to lower the price to our consumers. We're running this facility 24/7. We're doing it safely. And that's how we can lower the price to Americans. There's a conflict going on in Iran that's impacting prices, but the things we're doing is to try to drive that down.
What do you think is the lesson at this moment from what we are seeing in the Middle East for companies like Chevron and other suppliers having experienced what we experienced in Venezuela? Is the message that we need to rely more on oil from this hemisphere? I mean, and when will Americans start feeling those impacts?
Well, I think the lesson is that energy really matters, and it needs to be affordable and reliable, okay? And that's why we have to keep investing in infrastructure, investing in capabilities, and companies like Chevron need to keep finding these products and getting them to their customers. It's not okay that people are paying high prices. It's not okay that in some countries they're running out of products because they can't get it. And it just reinforces the need for energy is important, and it needs to be reliable and affordable.
This vessel here filled with how much Venezuelan crude?
400,000 barrels of Venezuelan crude.
400,000. You are processing how much more or less Venezuelan crude per day? And how does that compare to before the Maduro capture in January?
Well, there was a period where we couldn't get access to it. And this refinery was built to run that crude because it's a good resource, it's close, and that's how we run this refinery. Now we're running about 100,000 barrels a day, so this will last us about 4 days. Okay, that ship we have to have a ship like that come in every 3 or 4 days to supply this refinery. That's helping Venezuelans bring revenue to Venezuela, and it's helping Americans. This ship is lowering prices in America because we have access to a new supply point that we didn't have previously.
So without these ships, you think that we would be paying a lot more than $4 per gallon?
I'm not going to say a lot, but we would be paying more. Less supply means higher prices. This is a good thing for Americans. This product coming to our refinery, coming to other competitive refineries here in the Gulf Coast is good for Americans.
And Venezuela is going to offer greater supply. We're going to see a lot more of these ships as more Americans and more companies invest in Venezuela. How confident are you that the volatility politically there will support those investments not being too risky? I mean, we don't know if there's going to be an election. The opposition is trying to take charge.
Well, Chevron's been in Venezuela for over 100 years. We've seen good times and bad times. We do think what we do is we're a good presence in country. We're not going to make a lot of investments. We're going to watch signposts. We're going to watch the politics. We're going to watch the risks of the country. But we are raising our production. We think we can take our current production up about 50% over the next couple of years. We're working hard on that. We've got people on the ground, and we think it's good for Americans.
And does an election in Venezuela, a democratic election, where potentially, as happened in the last election, you have an opposition leader rise to power, is that a greater risk for Chevron? Is that a greater risk for investors?
So I think a democratic election is good for Venezuelans. Chevron's probably going to be there regardless, but we would like to see some good signposts around democracy, people voting, people having their right to say. Those things are probably good signs for the economy, the local people, and it probably sets it up better for investment longer term.
I don't want to get too deep into the foreign conversation because people are really suffering right now globally.
Sure.
But in the United States, what is your advice to American consumers who are making decisions about even to whether to take their kids to school or not? And how is Chevron helping?
Well, look, I think this is a reinforcement of the importance of energy. Energy is vital for us to live our lives. We rely on it, and it needs to be affordable, and it has to be reliable. We've benefited from reliable energy in the U.S. for a long time. That is at risk, okay? We've got to get through this Iran conflict. We've got to get product back flowing to the global markets, and we've got to get prices back down. People people do need to conserve energy. We should always be conserving energy, whether it's your light switch or the miles you drive or what kind of car you buy. So I would encourage everybody to try to conserve, hang in there, and hopefully prices will be coming down soon.
Next time we'll talk about the efforts on clean energy and on cleaning fossil fuels. But thank you so much. I know that this is all the time we have Mugo with you. Thank you so much, Andy, for the tour, and I look forward to getting to know the installations a little bit better today.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Back to you, Mugo.
Lilia Luciano, thank you so much. It's a very important conversation that's also very important to a lot of Americans. Appreciate your time.
That was awesome.